Hi there, church. One of my favorite definitions of church comes from theologian Rowan Williams. He says that the church is a group of people that takes responsibility for making the life of Jesus visible in the world. And what a world we have right now for making the life of Jesus visible. It's always hard work for us to offer ourselves up to the life of ministry, but it is especially hard work today on this Labor Day weekend when we think about the value of work and also the value of resting from work. How we're made for work, but also made for more than work. I'm really grateful for our staff who have been laboring for the ministry of the gospel for today's world. I'm thinking of Peggy Dixon, who has been putting out a lot more digital content and has been adapting her job to do that. She's also been starting to work on a new web design for the church that will enable us to do digital ministry more effectively. Peggy is so full of new ideas, and don't we know that we need that for the kind of world we're living in. I'm grateful for Elizabeth Gooden. Elizabeth shifted right away into putting out digital content for children's ministry and did some really creative stuff in a context where children's ministry was so hard, continues to be so hard for how to help kids to grow in relationship with Jesus when they can't be together. Elizabeth has such a passion for helping the church grow into a life of discipleship. That's meant a lot to me in my ministry, and Elizabeth has really inspired me and has been a huge asset to me in what I'm trying to lead as a pastor. So Elizabeth will continue to offer her gifts to the church, not just for kids, but increasingly, I think, for how she is going to help us develop a culture in which we are all growing to spend life with Jesus and to become like him and to do more and more of what he does, which is to say, to be people who really take responsibility for making his life visible in the world. I'm grateful for Jerry Gibson. You know, tomorrow Jerry is going to wax the tile in the basement because it's gotten quite a bit of traffic from the food pantry, and we're starting to get the building ready for renewed occupancy in coming weeks. I'm thankful for Sue Congdon. Sue has come up with some creative ideas for how she might lead ministry in a pandemic age. She's been leading in worship, of course, but she's also come up with this idea that we could offer a midweek music event in which she would play the organ and play hymn tunes and play maybe some secular music. People from the community would come in, people from the church could come in, enjoy being together, and also be strengthened and encouraged by some of this music that has built faith up over the years. I'm grateful for Josh Chenoweth, our choir director. You know, Josh's ministry was more or less taken away from him with the pandemic, but Josh continued to lead. He's helped to organize worship leadership for our live stream and outdoor services. Josh is doing some creative thinking for how the choir might be able to offer a ministry that's still safe as we're concerned for singing that spreads droplets. Is there a way that we can have the choir offer ministry, perhaps using some creative technology in a way that keeps the choir safe, but also enables us to be safe and enjoy the leadership that the choir has to give? In so many ways, these days are requiring of us hard work. We're having to work hard maybe in staying rooted and grounded in the gospel in a world that seems like it's just so conflicted, so threatens to invade our hearts in such a way that we get wrapped up in the conflict, that we add to the pain rather than allow the pain that's there to transform us more deeply into people who love like Jesus, who embraced the world's pain, who died under its weight on the cross and didn't pass any of it back. Instead, God so transformed the world's pain through Jesus that it resulted in resurrection. And so how is it that we can live in this struggling world in a way that brings new life rather than more difficulty? That's really what it means to be people who take responsibility for making the life of Jesus visible in the world. It's to do something that Jesus called us to do, which is to take up the cross, which is not easy, but God never called his people to do something that was easy. God always called his people to live a life that is faithful. And easy becomes irrelevant. Hard becomes irrelevant, because what is absolutely relevant is that God will give us the power, the creativity, the intelligence, imagination, creativity, and love to do everything to which God calls us. So let's keep on praying that God's will would be done in Christ Church. Let's keep on laboring under the Spirit's power for how the gospel is calling us into life today. Let's keep on loving God, sharing relationships, serving others from the heart of Christ.